friends, and welcome to Cooking with Wellness. I'm your host today, Hannah Lips, and I am your full-time counselor here at Earlham College. And I'm so excited to be sharing with you today a family favorite, which is matzo ball soup. Funny story, I have 3 half-siblings, and all 3 of those half-siblings come from a line where they have family who are Jewish. And so I grew up in a household not only going to church, but going to synagogue. So it was very culturally diverse, religiously diverse. And one of the things that I grew up with cooking with my mom and my other siblings was matzo ball soup. Now, this is something that you can easily order off of Amazon. In the South, where I'm from, which is Florida, there are high populations of Jewish communities, and so finding this at like your local Publix or Walmart is quite easy. Up here in the Midwest it can be a little bit difficult, but again, Amazon carries it. And the brand is called Manischewitz. You can get just the matzo ball soup mix, or you can get the matzo ball and like soup ingredient mix. And so that's what I am sharing with you today. The ingredients are relatively simple. All you need is some vegetable oil. If you don't have any vegetable oil, olive oil will do. 2 eggs, and that's pretty much it in the mix. And for those who are vegetarian or even vegan, I've been able to kind of remedy this recipe. And instead of using eggs in the matzo ball soup mix, you would go ahead and use applesauce in lieu of the eggs. And when we're go over to make or saute the vegetables, instead of using like regular butter, you could use like plant-based butter. So I went ahead and had everything pre-cut for you, so we didn't have to spend a ton of time watching me cut everything. But very basic ingredients, and now everybody likes their soup a little bit different, right? So how we used to do it back at home would be we'd put some carrots in there, some celery, and some onions. Every now and again, my mom would go ahead and add like little bits and pieces of chicken, which really adds great flavor and texture to the soup. But for today, we're just going to deal with the matzo ball mix and the vegetables. Some of your simple tools that you'll need is, a cutting board, a knife, your tablespoon measurer, and your carrot peeler. And then what you will also need is either your chicken broth if you are not vegan or vegetarian, or if you're vegan and vegetarian, go ahead and use the vegetable broth. I like to mix mine because again, it's giving it a really great, just different flavors and brings out a lot of that matzo meal in the matzo ball mix. Okay, friends, I'm going to go ahead and take you over to the bowl, and we're going to go ahead and start sauteing our vegetables. As you can see in here, I went ahead and put in my Kerrygold butter. But again, if you are vegan or vegetarian, you can go ahead and find plant butter. Go ahead and turn your stove onto, I'd say right in between low and medium. You don't want it terribly hot because then it's gonna more or less burn your butter and burn your vegetables. You want it just to have a nice, good melt going on. Go ahead and take your vegetables and get them poured in to the soup bowl. Whoop, there we go. Go ahead and put that to the side. All right, so as you see, I have put everything in here, and we're gonna wait for the bowl to go ahead and warm up a little bit. But you'll start seeing as the butter melts and the vegetables picking up on that butter, it's going to start kind of creating the vegetables to melt down a little bit. When I say melt, more or less become a little less, I guess, less hard and more tender. And then we will go ahead, and I don't know if you can see this, but it's called Better Than Bouillon. This is another great ingredient to use while cooking. It just is another concentrated form of seasoning to go ahead and really bring out some of that flavor in the soup. And I'll wait just a little bit for this to get melted down. And we may have to turn it up. And then I'll add some of our bouillon base. This too, friends, see on the inside? This you can easily grab at your local Walmart or Kroger. Here locally, the Needlers next to campus probably should carry this as well. But yeah, so definitely, as I was growing up with my half siblings, and they were so awesome about teaching me how to cook and make some of their grandparents' traditional Jewish dishes. And it's been so fun and such a pleasure. Matzo ball soup too is definitely a great meal to have during the wintertime, fall, winter. It's not a heavy soup. I would say that when we go ahead to make the matzo balls, the hope is that they come out very light and fluffy. So it's one of those things where it's a great conversation soup too, because those who haven't had it are very just entertained and enthusiastic about the matzo balls. And it's fun to be able to get into conversation. So yeah, definitely some really great memories with all my siblings and my family members sitting down during like fall, winter time. And then mind you, in Florida, fall, winter time, we'd have this soup. So slightly cold outside. But this soup, really, you can have it all year round. We also used to have it when we were sick and not feeling good. My mom would make it for us, and she'd call it her Jewish penicillin. And it was just super cute. Anytime we didn't feel good, that's what she made us feel a lot better. Probably the way that I'm making the matzah meal today, which is not vegan or vegetarian, with the eggs in it. The eggs give us that nice protein and kind of help us feel better as we are trying to heal from any sort of sickness. But all right, let's come back to our, guess we gotta, if you start noticing, friends, that the butter's taking a little bit of time to melt, go ahead and up the heat. Majority of the time though, you should be between low to medium heat. But every stove range differs, so just use your best judgment as you're working with it. It smells so good. Friends, do you see it? Look at the bottom of the pan, or the soup pan. See all of it starting to boil up a little bit? I love the smell of like caramelizing onions. Brings back a lot of memories in the kitchen with my family. And this is also a really great soup to make with friends and family. So if you're looking for something to do over the weekend and you want to have like a cooking party with your friends, definitely order some of the matzo ball soup mix and get going. It's something that everybody loves to do, even if you don't like the matzo ball. It's just fun to do. Everybody can kind of make the matzo ball soup their own as well. Some of the things that I don't have today, but that you can add some shallots, you can add garlic. Again, you can add chicken. That's primarily the best source of protein to add into this soup. You could add other things, but I'm not 100% sure how that would taste. So if you add anything else, let me know. Love to hear some of you recreate this soup and let me know how it tasted. Woohoo! Look at that color. Starting to see the onions turn a little bit. That's wonderful. And that's what we want. We don't want the vegetables to completely like congeal or melt, but we do want them to get nice and tender. Okay. So let's do a quick review. Matzo ball soup mix. If you're in the South, you could get it at your local Publix, Walmart, any grocery store. Here in the Midwest, you're probably gonna have to order it on Amazon. super cheap. You can grab your vegetable broth or your chicken broth at your local Walmart, Needler's, or Kroger. Vegetable oil will be the oil of choice that you will need. You can grab it Kroger, Needler's, or Walmart. If you do not have any dietary restrictions, you'll need 2 eggs. If you do have dietary restrictions, the vegetarian and vegan option would be, instead of eggs, would be applesauce. In sauteing the vegetables, if you do not have any dietary restrictions, the Kerrygold butter, you can get that Walmart, Kroger, or Needler's. And if you do have dietary restrictions, here's the Country Crock brand of plant butter. Okay, friends. Woohoo! Oh, looking good. I love it. Yum, yum, yum. Okay. Let's go ahead and get a little bit of our bouillon base. Let me show you. Very, very important. Today I am using the vegetable kind of the Better Than Bouillon flavor. They do have chicken and they do have beef. But you can get the chicken if you don't have any dietary restrictions, or you can just use this one for either. Okay, let's go ahead. Grab a heaping spoonful. Go ahead and be liberal with it. It's all good. Okay. Go ahead and put that to the side. Let's stir it up. Woohoo! Delicious. Look, it's even making this a little bit of that goldeny brown. Love it. Okay. So now as that is all coming together, what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I am going to add both the chicken and the vegetable, right? Crazy, but it's gonna be exciting and taste amazing. Okay. Go ahead and add all of it in. And if you need to make more broth, feel free to add in some water. That is how you can stretch that broth. Just adding in some more water. But I would say use more of your vegetable broth or chicken broth. You know, it'd be like 75-25, right? 75 broth of either choice or both, and like 25% water. Okay, we'll go ahead, give this a little stir. Yummy. Okay. And in that matzo ball soup like box that I had showed you, it came with its own like soup mix that we're gonna go ahead and add in. You can choose to add this in or not, you don't have to, but I like to add mine in. I am a flavor fanatic. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and stir this again. We'll use our bigger spoon. And then what we'll do is we'll grab a cup and get us some water. Friends, I'm a little weird, and I really love to promote like purified drinking water. There's nothing wrong with sink water or anything like that, but just for longevity and health purposes, be mindful of the water that you are using. If you use any plastic water bottles, please also be mindful to recycle. Okay. Well, I guess I didn't need that. We'll just go ahead and pour it in. I'm so used to at home grabbing my measuring cup or a cup in general and just placing it underneath the refrigerator faucet, if you will. Okay, so I'm going to put this over here. Okay, there we go, perfect. Now I do want to warn you, as we are cooking and this comes to a little bit of a boil, you're going to notice that you're gonna lose some volume with your liquid. That's very normal and that's perfectly okay. What you will do is just continue to add in some more of your broth and some more of your water. Just keep an eye on it as we go. Now, one thing that I have not mentioned yet is that part of the cooking process of the matzo ball meal mix itself is that after you have put in either your eggs or applesauce and mixed in your oil, you have to set that bowl into the refrigerator for about 15 minutes. After that, we can bring it out and go ahead and start doing the fun part, which is to go ahead and make our tiny little matzo balls. Notice too, when you're making these matzo balls, and I'll show you, you don't need to make them overly big. Like you'll see with me, like there's gonna be a couple different sizes, but they really do expand as they're boiling. Let's make sure our soup we'll go between medium and high, so right in the middle, and we'll start getting a gentle boil going. The trick to this, friends, too, is to go ahead and wet your hands a little bit. You'll notice that the matzo ball meal mix it's a little bit sticky and gritty, which is not helpful when you're trying to make the matzo balls into the perfect little size. We'll go ahead, wet our hands, just like so. Okay. We'll come over here. So wet hands, yeah? And then take your fork, put a little bit of this in your hand and start rolling. See? Makes it a lot easier. The little matzo ball. Go ahead and drop it in. We'll go and get this started boiling a little bit more. See? Take a little forkful, put it in your hand, and go ahead and start rolling. See? So much fun. And as you guys can probably concur, this is a lot of fun when you have friends making it with you too. And you'll notice that they'll start to float, okay? Which is what you want. When you add in, now the difference between the matzo ball that has the egg in it and a matzo ball meal that has the applesauce in it, you're gonna notice that as it's boiling, now you can see I made it a little bit bigger. That's okay. Happy little matzo balls. Okay. So you'll notice the difference that the egg matzo balls don't really flake. And you'll see what I'm talking about with the applesauce matzo balls. You'll notice that the applesauce matzo balls will they'll still be in their ball-like form, but they'll kind of be a little bit more flaky to where you'll see some of like the matzo ball meal coming off. It's just not as strong staying together. I'm gonna go ahead, my hands are getting dry, and I'm gonna go ahead and wet them again. Now let's talk about if you were gonna add some chicken. So I am very weird about poultry and me being sure that it's been thoroughly cooked. I would recommend going ahead and like cooking and sauteing your chicken breasts prior to putting it into the soup bowl. So making sure that it is thoroughly cooked. And then what you would do with that chicken is go ahead and, kind of tear it with your fork or even your hands to get it to where it's in like thin strands and slices, and then go ahead and add it to your soup towards the end of you making it, just more or less to get it warmed up and you know, just fitting in with the rest of the vegetables and all the things. When in doubt, definitely make sure you're cooking the chicken right. Okay, so as you see, I've kind of changed my size a little bit, but you'll see some of the balls are like medium, smaller. It's a lot of fun. It's like edible Play-Doh, but way better. Okay. Perfect. This is gonna taste so yummy. So what are some things that you could pair with this dish? So a couple of things that I think that would go great with this matzo ball soup is maybe a nice big hearty salad. Any salad really. You could do a Caesar salad, maybe a Greek salad. You could pair another, Jewish dish, which is potato latkes, which is essentially kind of the same concept with the matzo ball meal mix. You would get the potato latkes mix and make it per the instructions on the back, which should be relatively simple. Oop, okay, friends, so see how like my hands are not that watery, glossy look anymore. You can see that the matzah meal is starting to get on my hands. So this is your sign that we need to go ahead and grab a little more water, get our hands a little more moist. Just a couple, well, one more to go. Perfect. Okay. Here we go. This one's not wanting to roll. Perfect. Go ahead and set it in. Now we wait. We'll go ahead and let this gently boil for about 10-ish minutes. And then after that, we'll be ready to go ahead and serve our soup. Now that I'm washing my hands, let's get a little soap. Yes, friends, make sure you're always doing your best to practice, health, safety, and rinsing and washing your hands as you're using eggs and different types of meats and poultries. And making sure that you're not cross-contaminating. Okay, so we are coming down to the end of Cooking with Wellness Matzo Ball Soup edition. So excited, so grateful to be here with you all today, being able to share this wonderful family tradition. I'm looking forward to the opportunity to be able to chat with each and every one of you, as maybe one day you might go ahead and order a matzo ball soup mix. Have fun with it. Make it a family and friend event. Have a cooking party. Make it matzo ball soup. It's going to be so much fun being able to, make this and then come back to the dinner table, kitchen table, couch, what have you, and just be able to conversate and make some memories. I think that's really what it's all about. Making really wonderful memories to share with everybody. Well, that's it. We'll be ready to show you here in a few minutes what the end product looks like. Until then. Yay, we've made it. This is the final product of the matzo ball soup. Doesn't it look delicious? You see everything just so pleasantly hanging out together. And as I was saying too, did you notice the difference in size and how the matzo ball meal mix rose when it was boiling? This is gonna be so much fun. Thank you, friends, for joining me today on Cooking with Wellness, the baked and bougie sequence of matzo ball soup. Again, have so much fun creating this. and making this with friends and family, or even just by yourself if you're having your own self-care time. Alrighty, yay! Have fun eating, woohoo! And